Narrowboat Alice Grace, our floating home is still poorly. 3 weeks ago, this happened. I've come in the boat because engine cut out and there's smoke coming out where the coolant bottle is. And then 2 weeks ago, in the pouring rain and high winds, I managed to get Alice Grace to just outside Oxley Marine because they could work on our engine. But because we have a Vetus engine, the parts come all the way from Holland, so it's taken ages for them to arrive. Exciting news on the engine front, or I hope so. So Phil on the other side has just shouted to me in a polite way, can I get my boat over to the other side after there's a boat that's currently using the services over there when they've gone, because they are going to start work on the engine and they have arranged a hookup for me to have electricity whilst they're doing the work, which is just brilliant. Oh, I'm so excited. I thought it would be a bit longer. I was about to phone CRT today and tell them that we have broken down because we were going over our 2 week stay. But if I move to the other side, that's different, isn't it? I'm having work done. So I'm just really worried how I'm going to get the boat over the other side in a small gap between two boats, one of which is a fiberglass boat. And apparently I don't even need to put the engine on to do it. There's a knack to it. And then suddenly it was time for me to head over to the other side. It was like playing a game of Tetris. My piece was 60 foot long and I was going to have to fit it into a gap 60 foot long. It's going to hit that boat, isn't it? At this very early stage I realised that I just did not have the knack that Phil was talking about, so I quickly nipped inside to get the engine key. Are you sure I'm not going to hit that boat without reversing? And it was at this point that I realised that those who had the knack and the key to the secret of pushing one boat from one side to the other just couldn't hear me very well. Are you sure I'm not going to hit the boat without putting the engine on? I'm scared not to put the engine on. Then suddenly all the ducks started to arrive. It's almost as if they sensed that something entertaining was about to happen. Oh, I really struggled with this. I think it would have been more successful had one of those ducks jumped up on the stern and started steering at the tiller. To come towards you, yeah?
No, put your tiller in the middle.
Alright.
Put it in the middle. Now put your tiller over. Now leave your engine alone. Okay. Leave everything alone.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. Well, I'll never be Tetris World Champion, that's for sure, but at least I hadn't smashed the fiberglass boat. That was a big plus for me.
They don't build boats to work on.
No, I know. What are you going to do?
I'm going to cry.
you want me to take that off? Is that going to annoy you?
Yes, I've got the engine to drain.
Okay.
To get to below the cylinder head.
Right.
If I don't, it'll all go into the sump.
Okay.
And I don't want that because I don't want to have to...
Is the sump the bit down the bottom?
Yeah, that's where the oil is.
Okay. So loads of people talk about you, Phil, and say that you've been repairing their engines for a long time. Have you worked at Oxy Marine for a while then?
Depends what you call a while.
10 years?
Double it.
Really? Wow.
I only come temporary.
You only came temporary? So is this all the head of this is going to come off, is it?
Yeah. All this lot's going to come off.
And so will that be all replaced? All that's going to be brand new?
No.
Oh.
Just the gasket. The head will be skinned.
Right.
Which is because it won't be level.
Right. And is Vetus a tricky engine to work with, or is it?
Hey?
Is Vetus a tricky engine to work with? Is it very different?
Tricky.
Yeah.
They're all tricky.
Okay.
Because when they build them, marinise them, they don't think of the poor guy what has to mend them.
We'll come back to Phil to see how he's getting on, but first let me show you something special. Okay, here's a map of where we're going. We are going to travel down to here. We're 350 feet above sea level at the summit of the Staffs and Moors Canal, heading in the direction of Stowport. Got some gorgeous light coming through the trees now. Ooh, what's that? There's all sorts of stories about this plant, but it's been used to cure nosebleeds, stomach upsets, and as an antiseptic. And they think it might have got its name two different ways. One from a monk, 11th century monk, who used this plant to cure people, so his name must have been Robert. And another one comes from folklore, a goblin called Robin Goodfellow, which I'm going to try and find out a bit more about. And that's what I mean. One tiny little purple petalled flower hanging out of the hedgerow as you walk along, and there's so many stories attached to it, and it's got so many beneficial properties. This is what I absolutely love about finding things out about nature and discovering things. It just gives me such a buzz. We're nowhere near where we're supposed to be, but I had to pay my respects to little Herb Robert. Apparently Shakespeare's Puck character is based on Robin Goodfellow, and here's an illustration of Robin Goodfellow, and his pink little flowers of mischief was Herb Robert. Right, this bridge is a really unusual bridge. Let me show you why. It's called Tunstall Water Bridge. Above my head is a stream. It's called Smestow Brook, and normally streams would be used to fill the canals if they were close by, or they would run in culverts underneath it. But this stream was used to power 30 or so mills, and James Brindley did not want to get into legal battle with a bunch of angry millers, so he carried the stream on the top of the bridge. Oh, beggar. Could hear it. Kingfisher. We're leaving the canal here for a minute. This was the old Tetan station, which was on the Wombourne branch line that the Great Western Railway Company built between 1912 and 1925. It was also used to transport Allied troops from the Normandy D-Day landings to hospitals in the nearby area. Now the station has been turned into a vintage cafe, selling gorgeous deliciousness and puppuccinos for dogs. Got something very exciting coming. A puppuccino is sausages, dog biscuits and whipped cream. Just opposite the tea room is this transport museum, Tetan Hall Transport Heritage Centre. This building is an old goods depot, so the trains would come and load and unload here, and there used to be railway tracks to the right-hand side. Now it's turned into the most amazing transport museum I have ever been in. There's so much in here, in such a small space. Here it comes. And they'd even included the Staffs and Worcester Canal. And this little narrowboat really reminded me of Alice Grace, largely because it just wasn't moving.
If you want to look around and sort of ask any questions. But
okay.
This is, I don't know, you're probably too young to remember the film, Those Magnificent Men in Their Prime.
Oh, I have seen it, yeah.
Well, this is one of the stars.
Alec has just told me that this is the very same Demoiselle aeroplane that appears in Those Magnificent Men and Their Flying Machine. It's right here in front of us.
A gentleman by the name of Hartill, who was, I think he was a plumber, and decided that he was going to be a pilot. So he'd seen one of these Demoiselles and he copied it and made a faithful copy in his shed and took it to the air pageant. And so it's officially Wolverhampton's first aircraft.
Then this magnificent model house was built by a local designer called Ron Thomas, who used to work for Guy Motors, a big motor company in Wolverhampton. And when he retired, he decided he was going to build his own house. And then inside the house, he built a replica of his own house. And then inside the replica of his own house, he built another replica of his own house. But he didn't stop there. He had several grandchildren and he decided to build each one of them a pedal motor car, exact replicas of their original forms. But the Morris Minor he built ended up being made several times over, as so many people also wanted one. What an amazing way to spend your retirement! This was one of my favourite items in the Transport Museum. It's a hob car, and it was the first of its kind designed by a big company called Hobson's Apprentices for a local boy called David Smith that had spina bifida.
You can operate it entirely with your hands. You don't need any kind of legs to operate it, and it gave him mobility. He made it to about 14.
Right.
And his mother kept this. Well, she kept it for years, and then donated it to us.
This is a picture of young David testing it out. It had forward, reverse gears, an electric horn and a removable handle. It was so successful that the Ministry of Health tested it, and then they reproduced 100 more for children with paraplegia, and they were made by young offenders.
He planned to revolutionise the world with the microcar that he designed, which initially was electric.
But Bob Collier's gorgeous microcar didn't arrive at this museum looking like it does today. It arrived in 2018 looking like this, and the volunteers have worked really hard to restore it to its former glory. Alex said in a local newspaper at the time, "It's unique, it's local, and that's what we do." So beautiful though.
One says stop, one says go.
Perfect. I spent ages in this old goods station, and Alec brought every item to life with his incredible knowledge. I totally 100% recommend a visit to Tetan Hall Transport Museum, I really do, and I'll put a link to their Facebook page in the description of this vlog so you can check out their opening times if you're in the area. It's amazing that you just find something like this, an old railway platform, an old railway station turned into a cafe. At the back of it, which was also part of the railway, which is now a transport museum, there's a little gift shop, and this would have been the old railway line. So Zeph and I decided to take the old railway line back to find out what was happening with our engine. These almost look like Pringles stuck in the side of the tree, but they are thin-walled maize polypore. Overnight in this woodland, fairies fell out of the sky onto the old railway line and left their parachutes behind. This log is full of fairy parachutes. Watch the fairy parachutes! This is very pretty. And then back again to join the Staffsonwas Canal under the old railway viaduct. Back on the canal. Nettle-leaved bellflower. Isn't that pretty? Oh, have a little sniff, Zeph. Really pretty. This one's closed. Oh God, I hope Phil's not evaporated. Where's he gone?
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Really?
But it's nothing what can't be
fixed. We thought we'd only lost one head stud, but apparently more had blown off. Oh God, where, what, up on this other side of this?
No, they're all out now, but there were three of them's under rocker cover, so you couldn't see them.
Oh. Do you think they might have gone earlier another time and it's just got worse and worse, or they all went at the same time?
No, I don't know, but it's a mess.
brains and hands accomplish, feet after incredible feat. Canals and trains, demoiselle aeroplanes, inventions that fix and complete. And now with an engine that's broken, on a boat that is quiet and still, the experts profess that the whole thing's a mess, but nothing's too big for our Phil. Now it seems that the fairies have landed. Let's hope that they bring us some luck. Yet as Herb Robert winks, I can't help but think how this mischief was caused, why we're stuck. Were our nuts blown off by that puck?